It looks like a little bit of a mess, huh? So what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild a door lock cylinder, and the lock cylinder kit for this 2010 F-150 is 73Z1521990-A. Basically what ended up happening is somebody tried to break into his truck, and they mangled it up pretty good. So I just took a flat blade screwdriver, just a little small one, pried apart the cover and everything on here, unloaded the assembly out the back side of it, and now I'm just pulling each one of these keys and matching it up with a brand new one and building the new lock cylinder accordingly. So for instance, this first one I pulled here where this empty slot is, that was key 3. So now I'm going to insert key 3 back into the same top slot, and I'm going to put a spring in there. So let me do that real quick. I'll show you what it looks like. So now you can see right here in this little corner, I've actually got a spring inside that, underneath this little tab right here. I dropped the spring in, and then I went and found key 3, which that's bag 3 right here, that comes in the kit, and I dropped it in there and then snapped it in, and now it's not coming out anymore. Sorry for the video, guys, I'm using my phone. So now I'll pull the next key out on that side and see what it is and then match it up. Okay, the next one on that side is key 1. So now I'll drop a spring and key 1 in on that side, just so you can see where I'm dropping the springs right there. And now I'm going to drop key 1 in that slot with the tab facing the spring. There it is. I put the key in, and see how they automatically suck down? That's what it does. So you just go one at a time, one at a time, one at a time until you get them all to do that. Sometimes you got to pull 3, 2, 3, 4 times out before you get the right one if you don't know the key code. But luckily I have a lock cylinder to go off of where I can rebuild this accordingly. So there is one side built with the key in. You can see how they're all moving. And when the key is inserted all the way like that, that's how they should be flush. And then you go to the other side and do the same thing. So now when I put this key in here, all the way to the end, that's what it should look like. Perfectly flush. It's keyed correctly. That's how you build a lock cylinder, even for an ignition lock cylinder as well. If you have the old one, you can rebuild it using the old numbers. Sometimes you can go to your dealership and they'll give you the key codes where it'll say start on one side it's 1 4 or like 1 4 2, and then on the other side it'll be 3 2 3 or something like that, or maybe the numbers will match. But typically that the dealership can only get up to like 10 years back. If it's past 10 years they can't get it. Then you'll just have to get a whole new key and lock cylinder. So I matched up, then you're gonna have to put your front assembly together. So I matched up the spring that came out of the front, and now I'm gonna need to put this tab right here, the big silver piece in the bottom. It's gonna have to fit and snap in there now too. And then this piece right here snapped into the top. It's got the 2 little grooves. You got to make sure the fatter side is on the spring side, and you can see that it's nice and spring loaded. So now I'm kind of squirting grease and everything all over inside there, inside the housing and stuff, so I can lube it up real good. Now I snapped my cap on it. It's got a little spring to it, and these little tabs right here. You can push those little tabs in a little bit more if you want them to catch the ridge of that lock cylinder a little bit more. So here it is. It's finished. It's all snapped back together. I'm trying to hold this well. It's all together and it functions just like it's supposed to. Just like so. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed, guys. I do apologize, but this is what you get when you're a one-man show. That's how to rebuild a lock cylinder. So quick, easy, to the point. And remember, when you go to build those keys inside, if you don't know what the old ones are and you're building one fresh, this goes for an ignition. This assembly is both for an ignition and a door. But if you don't know what your door codes are, you can stick your key inside that center slot when you're building the body, and then put one key in, try it. If it sticks out too far, you know it's not going to go back into this housing. Put another key, and find the key that's closest to flush in that key slot. And then just keep going to the next one, the next one, the next one. Make sure you lube everything up with that white grease real good, and then you're done. Put it all back together. Put your ignition or your door back together. You're finished. Thanks, guys.